What's happening, principles of management? You've made it to week number 3. So here we are. Let me go through our number of issues and things we have to address before I get started with this week's review. So first and foremost, some of you guys have reached out to me about your access codes. So it sounds like the GNTC bookstore and McGraw-Hill had some issues, and some of you might be back ordered. So from what I understand is they will be offering extensions to your 2-week free extension, so you have enough time to receive the access code and continue to do your work. If you're watching this video and for some reason you have not received your access code that you've purchased, then you need to get a hold of me so we can get that sorted out. Now, of course, someone had emailed me about asking the question, where's the access code? Well, you do need to purchase the access code. That's like buying your book. And as I mentioned in my first video, you need an access code to continue to do your work in this class. Everything is done through that McGraw-Hill platform, with the exception of our discussions. So that being said, please make sure you're staying on top of it. Here's the deal, guys. We're in week number 3, which means next week is your midterm. So next week you have your midterm. So remember that if you signed up for the Junior Achievement, when you finish doing your service at Junior Achievement, you're going to send me the email. That's going to be your exemption from your midterm. You will not get a grade. You will be exempt from midterm if you volunteer 1 day at Junior Achievement. That information is all located under your announcements tab, and there's a link there to sign up for that exemption. Not for your final, just your midterm. So if you've done that, you're going to have a breath of fresh air next week when the midterm pops up and you don't have to worry about it. So you let me know if you are next week, before, don't start sending an email yet. Next week, you let me know that you're going to be taking that option with Junior Achievement. And that way, once you send me the thank you, I'll exempt you from that midterm. Quick shout outs here. Here's our top 10 in the list this week that have been off the charts doing great. Adriana, or I guess it's Adriana Flores. Well done. Top 10 this week on our student performance. Callie, Adeline, this is like the second week in a row. Come on now. Susanna, Kristen, Anna, Harrell. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Victoria's also, I think she came up again. Elizabeth Ogo, great job. Chandrea, I am so sorry, I'm butchering names here. I should just shut up. The last one, though, is Dustin. My man, Dustin, you did it, brother. Good job. Well done. Hey, Jasenia, you need to step it up. It sounds like Justin's taking you out. I'm joking around. They're a couple in our class, so please don't take it personal. Jasenia, you look like a tough pickle. I don't want to get in trouble with you. I was just playing. But Dustin, good job, buddy. All right, so here we are, guys. We're in week number 3. We are killing it. So let me tell you what happened last week. Week number 2, you guys tackled the 5 elements of the macro environment of business. I'm not going to go through those details since you should already know and have an understanding of that. But we also talked about managers making decisions. We talked about the influence that ethics has on that. And you saw a video and you picked your ethical perspective in the normal sense of the word. By the way, today, it's not sponsored by, because I pay for it, but it's chocolate coffee. So it's basically a mocha. Very good. And this is my cool cup. It's called the Ember. I don't know if you could see that, but the Ember basically is a auto warming cup. It keeps my coffee at a specific degrees, and I can control it with my phone. So as I mentioned, I'm obsessed with having good coffee and things that actually make it better. So this cup has been such a blessing to keep my coffee nice and hot as long as I need it to. So, and I can control the temperature, want it colder or warmer. It's amazing. So I don't know what it costs. I actually won it in a raffle, so I'm not sure what it was, but it's a great investment. Anyhow, all right, that being said, we talked about ethical perspectives. I want to give you guys a couple things here that I want you to go away with. So a lot of you struggled with making the decision on the train. That was the topic, right? Line and the train. Those are the two things that I mentioned last time. You guys did a great job talking about in the reply to my video. One, here's my perspective. I'm not telling you to believe this. I'm not telling you to adopt this. I'm just sharing with you so you can understand my point of view. So lying, it depends. Lying depends on a few things. And if lying is done with malice in your heart and you are intentionally either hurting or deceiving someone for gain and there's evil, I don't agree with that, of course. There's no situation in my understanding that can be an acceptable cause. But lying in itself, deceiving someone or not telling someone the truth in itself, it depends. To me, it all depends on the heart. And I'll give you an example. So your kids love Christmas. They love the time of Christmas. They enjoy Christmas. Christmas is awesome. And every year you want to create this beautiful moment for them where they celebrate the fact that a fat guy climbs down the chimney and brings them Christmas gifts, and you tell them, let's bake some cookies, and you have this beautiful moment, right? Baking cookies with your children and leaving Santa Claus milk and cookies, and whoever in your family goes, takes a bite and drinks them, and the kids wake up and it's like a beautiful moment, and it's just overwhelming. I think about when my kids were young, we didn't do Santa Claus or the Tooth Fairy. We just didn't have that tradition in my home, but there was things that I wanted to just spare my children the reality of, and I wouldn't necessarily directly, purposely, evilly lie to them, but I would withhold the truth from them for whatever reason. And I felt that was important for their age, and it was appropriate for them. And that's not bad. And I know some people took the stance, the deontological stance, that it's always bad to lie. Well, and that's your perspective, and that's perfectly normal and fine, and I respect that. But in my world, there's things that you withhold information from, and in essence, I don't believe it's done in malice or evil. In some cases, it's done for good. So, biblically speaking, I know that you guys know that I was a pastor in the past, and when we talked about these issues, it just depends on the situation, the condition of the heart, and it's a lot of involvement in it. But there was a story in the Old Testament that a woman who was not of a good character hid the spies that were of the people of God. And when the local army came and knocked on her door and said, hey, do you have these spies hidden in your house? And she said, no, I don't know what spies are you talking about, when they were literally sitting in the roof of her house. She lied to protect them for a good cause. And then the Bible continues to show how this woman, because of this lie, was blessed. And you go, wait, I thought lying was bad. Well, then there's a deeper story to that. Then it's really not the lie, it's the purpose of it that makes the difference. So for me, that's the answer on lying. And then when we go to the answer on the train, here's my perspective. Everything changes based on the information you have. So the whole process of this ethical decision thing for you was to discover a couple things. One, we all have an ethical leaning, but two, that depending on information, situation, and circumstance, your ethical decision is going to change. It's going to change. I promise you it'll change. So if I told you that the 10 people were 99 years old and all were suffering of some type of traumatic illness, you would be like, heck yeah, pull the lever, take care of the 10 and survive the one, right? Most of us would, at least, and be like, oh, I feel better about that. They're 99, they've lived a great life, and they're already suffering from terminal illness. It's a horrible story, don't get me wrong, it's terrible, but it's a lot easier to make that decision. What if I told you that the child was going to grow up to be a mass murderer? With that information, all of a sudden, most of you will change your perspective of things and go, heck, take the 1 out, right? And I told you that the 10 were these unbelievable, wonderful people. But everything will change if I told you this child is going to find a solution for some deadly disease one day. He's going to be the one that, or she's going to be the one that discovers how to heal something drastically. Of course, we will do whatever we can to save that child. So your decision and your ethics is going to be swayed on the situation, circumstances, and conditions you're in. I just wanted you to be exposed to the fact that that's why some people make decisions and we go, how is it possible that you would decide to do this? Well, because ethics played a big role in that. You know, I'm very open at the fact that I was the first American citizen in my family. My parents came here to this country. I'm proud to say that they are now American citizens, healthy participants of our community. As you can see, I believe I am an asset to our community and our society, but my parents came here illegally. That's the bottom line, right? And a lot of people, friends of mine who don't understand the circumstances, how can your parents, why would they make that decision? Well, the reality is my dad faced a very critical decision in his life, and he had an ethical decision to make. I break the law of the United States and I come in here illegally, and I leave the conditions of where they were from in horrible conditions. Chances of them succeeding in that environment were slim to none. And my dad took that decision, made that decision consciously, broke the rules, broke the law, and came to this country. Of course, after some time, they were able to fix their papers, legalize, and do what they were supposed to. But at that moment, he took what we considered a utilitarian perspective and said the end result will justify what I'm doing now to get there. So in other words, it's worth it because, and for our, by the grace of God and our blessing, and thank God everything worked out the way it is. His son now is an MBA, is a professor in a college, is being impactful in the community. And most people would agree and say that was a good decision. What would have been the alternative? Who knows? You know, we could only assume. But what if we would have ended up there and I might have not made it? Hey guys, I'll be very open and frank with you guys, very honest with you. And you could see my story if you like. It's online. But I've lost kidney function at the age of 18, 19 years old. I lost the function of my kidneys. I had a transplant, but my wife gave me a kidney, and unfortunately, after 6 years, that kidney failed, and I am currently on a medical treatment that I do every night called dialysis. Every night I connect to a machine to keep me alive. If I would have been born in Guatemala, would I have had that opportunities? Would I have been a productive citizen or just a burden on society because I was sick all my life? And you wonder. So I want you to really, really take this home with you. Ethics is a very critical thing. Now, if you want to see something I played out in ethics in a TV show, there's a TV show called The Good Place. And one of the characters there is an ethics professor. He talks a lot about what we're talking about. I think this is so important for us in business because we're confronted with these decisions daily, guys. Who to fire, who to give raises to, who to hire. Those are all sometimes ethical perspectives that you need to know what you believe. All right. Enough about ethics. Let's move on to this week. Week number 3. Guys, in week number 3, it's similar to the previous weeks. Nothing really changes. Our structure is pretty much the same from here on out. You got 2 chapters to do. You have discussions. Now, I noticed and I graded your first week discussion. By the way, I read every discussion. So please make sure you're not just copying and pasting something. I read them and I go through every one of them. As I mentioned before, someone mentioned, like, can you elaborate on what you mean by this? I know you're saying the right things when you answer the discussion question, not my reply. You're just going to say how I love to hear what's going on in your life. So please continue to share that. But where I know you understand the materials when you answer the question correctly in the discussion post. For example, this week we're talking about a SWOT analysis, S-W-O-T, SWOT. A SWOT analysis is a tool that's used in business to analyze, get this, you should know this, the external, but also the internal environment of a business. So what we do in a SWOT analysis is we look at this from a strategic management perspective. You're a manager of a company and you're looking at a company and you're saying, okay, what's going on, not only internally within our company, but externally, the macro environment. And we're going to make adjustments and decisions in our company based on that information. SWOT stands for strengths and weaknesses, opportunities and threats. So strengths and weaknesses are internal to us. So you're going to do a SWOT analysis. That's what the discussion is. And I want to see what you do. I want you to pick a company, any company that you know, and I want you to research it fast. Flash research, Google it, information about it. What are the strengths internally? So for example, let's say Nike, right? You're going to do a SWOT analysis. You can't do Nike now because I'm doing the SWOT analysis here. You're going to do Nike. What are the strengths that internally Nike has? One, name recognition. Everyone knows Nike. What's another internal strength? Probably leadership. Great CEO, great leadership teams. Two, probably very profitable internal strengths. But what are some of the weaknesses, internal weaknesses? I'll tell you one. Nike's gotten in a lot of trouble because they've used outsourced like companies that don't treat their employees well. That's a weakness. Nike's strength, marketing. Nike's amazing at marketing, right? So what are some of the external opportunities Nike has? Now, not internal, external. For example, Nike could expand in different areas, maybe home attire or furniture. Those are possible opportunities. Are they good? Maybe not, but they're opportunities. What are some threats that Nike has? Well, some of their other competitors, or some people saying, oh, here's a big external threat. Everyone's conscious of our environment now. Are we using too much rubber in the soles? Are we using too much sustainable resources to make the product? Are we not using the right things with Nike? That's an external threat. That's a problem. But also political issues, right? Are people going to continue to accept this outsourcing and doing things like that? So the SWOT analysis really gives us a tool to take a look at where we're positioned in a company or a business and decide which direction we want to go to. What's our strength? What do we do good? What do we do better than anyone else? And what's our weakness and how should we improve on those? So how do we align our opportunities with our strengths? And how do we defend ourselves from those threats externally and protect ourselves by strengthening our weaknesses? So it's a great tool. I want you in our discussion to do a SWOT analysis. Pick a company, do a SWOT analysis. In regards to my replies, I just kind of want to hear about you guys. I want to learn more about you. Tell me more. I love that you tell me about your family. For all of you who are dealing with COVID, my heart goes out to you. I know this is an easy thing. It's not a fair thing. Please let me know. I want to keep you in my thoughts and prayers, and I want to let you know that we're here to help if you need some type of help. We offer tons and tons of services, guys. We have a service here. I don't know if you're aware of. It's called Aspire. It's a student assistance service that will give you counseling for some of you that might have some mental health concerns. Please don't keep that to yourself. Like, we're here to help. I'm here to help. Guys, I don't know what else I can tell you. I think that covers it all. Once again, big shout out to all you guys doing your work early. Get it done, man. Let's do this. Week number 4 is coming up. Midterm. Make sure you're signing up for JA if you're going to do that. Let me know. That way you don't get a 0 in your midterm. Other than that, guys, I'm here for you. Let me know how I can help. What else can I tell you? I think that's about it. I don't promote and get involved in people's life, but I mask up. I'm vaccinated. I encourage you to talk to your professional about that, your doctor, your PA, your nurse, whoever it is. Forget about social media. Ignore all the junk that's out there. Do your own research. It's going to be good for some people. It's not going to be good for others, and I respect your decision either way. But just make sure you make an educated decision on it. Guys, that's it. This has been a lengthy video. It's great to hear from you. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the week. Take care, everyone.